Hi, welcome to Striving to Be the Best. Today we're here with Brandon Cobb, Central Intermediate School Principal. We're going to talk about the intermediate school today. Thanks for joining us, Brandon.
Thank you.
Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about your background and how many years you've been part of our administrative team here in Wadsworth City Schools.
Yeah, so I grew up in Wadsworth and graduated from Wadsworth High School in 2003. Went to the University of Akron, graduated in 2007 with a degree in elementary education. Was blessed and fortunate enough to come back right away as a teacher. Taught third grade at Lincoln for 7 years. Then I moved on to the Worcester City Schools. I was at Worcester High School for 1 year, and then moved across the street and had the opportunity to be an elementary principal for 5 years. And then during COVID, 2020, had the opportunity to take on the role of principal of CIS. So been there for 4.5 years.
Very good. Yeah, I still remember that. We were interviewing you virtually. It was that first spring
Yes.
of COVID. So I finally remember that interview. So Brandon, talk to us a little bit about the intermediate school. Are there new opportunities this year for students?
Yes, so one of the opportunities that we're super excited about is through our academic council in the 2022-2023 school year, we had kind of tackled world languages, and it was decided that there was an opportunity to bring some world language to CIS. More of an introductory opportunity for students to have an opportunity just to experience Spanish and French and really start to think about, is this for me? So last year we had a couple offerings for some of our students, and then this year we've been able to expand that, and all of our sixth graders now have the opportunity to take Spanish and French for half the year. And again, it's very exploratory, and it's been remarkable to see our students just absorb the information. They are very into it, and it's been an exciting opportunity. The other thing that we've had an opportunity to expand on are just fun opportunities for our students to engage at school. One of the things that we believe at CIS is that our students work extremely hard. And when they're working that hard, we need opportunities for them to have a little bit of fun. So one of the opportunities we just recently had was our turkey trot, which through PBIS, we have a bear paw system, and our students had an opportunity to earn this opportunity. So they earned it right before Turkey Day and our Thanksgiving break, and it was a fun event. Also included our families. We had about 50 volunteers that helped out with snack and just making sure the event was successful. Other events that we're planning this year, we have a Winterfest coming up right before winter break, another opportunity for students to engage, and also another way to bring our families in. So those are a couple of the opportunities that we've been able to expand this year.
Yeah, CIS has always done an outstanding job of just creating a really interactive, fun, engaging environment for kids. You mentioned PBIS. Can you just briefly talk about what that means?
Yeah. So PBIS is positive behavior intervention and support. Really, it's what I always tell people. We have an opportunity. We can penalize when kids don't do the right thing, or we can incentivize when they do the right thing. So it's human nature when there's opportunities to show your success and you're highlighting success, that they rise to the occasion. So PBIS is really looking at individual students, but really holistically as a building, how can we really model the be safe, be kind, be responsible initiatives that we have throughout our district.
Fantastic. So, when you think about the intermediate school, all the things that happen there, talk about some of the things that you're just really proud of.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for 5th and 6th graders, and they come to us as 4th graders and they leave as 7th graders. So it's a growing time for them. Independence is a big part of what we're trying to develop with our students. And you're bringing 5 elementaries plus kids that come from other schools all together and trying to create one student body through 5th grade and into 6th grade and then on to the middle school. So what I'm most proud of is really the new friendships our students create, the old friendships that they strengthen, and then just the amount of growth academically that our students show, and the level of independence. Our goal is for them to really be more in control of their academics as they head on to the middle school, and they're going to be asked to be even more independent.
Very good. So we're getting set, and I'm sure it's an exciting time in some ways, trying to get through our last school year in the current intermediate school building that's been such a great part of this community for years and years, and transitioning over to this new building in August next year, 2025, that the community has given us the opportunity to be able to build. So, there's a lot that goes into that process, from design to the actual building and all of those finite details. Steve Moore, our assistant superintendent, has really been our point person with a lot of that for the project. But I know that you and Krista Goddard-Hallecky, your assistant principal, and the staff at the intermediate have been involved. So can you talk a little bit about what does that look like for you and in that process?
Yeah, what a fun process. And I've really just thought to myself throughout this process how it's a blessing that we've been very engaged and very involved. And it starts at the top with you, and you mentioned Steve Moore, and I think Doug Beeman's been involved a lot. And this all started really in 2022. Right at the beginning of that year, we met with our first design team, and from there, we engaged our teachers and our staff by doing some building visits. We saw some really incredible schools and some really cool ideas, and we then took those ideas back and said, what's going to work for a new intermediate school? From there, we met with departments, we met with custodial, we met with everyone to get input on what do we want. And I even remember back a little bit before that, I was asked at one point, what do you want with the new intermediate school? And at that point, I felt brand new, and I didn't really have a good idea of what was really needed. And I knew who would, and it was the staff and the students. And actually, one of the pictures that we want to share today is of our students. Early on, we actually had a student design committee, and they did a fantastic job of meeting with our architects, learning about the project, and then being able to provide input on what they wanted with their new school. And some of those ideas, such as flexible seating, they want to see daylight. They don't like dark areas that don't have natural light. Some of those ideas, even being more connected as a building. One of the restrictions of our current building is it's very segmented. And if you're on one side of the building, you know the people that are around you. And the new school's not going to have that. It's going to feel more like a house, more like a community. So it's been a remarkable process. But yeah, the students, and ironically, the students in that picture, they are now high schoolers, and they were helping design this. So staff have been to the site. So on top of meetings, we've also, in September, we did a tour. Many staff actually came to the groundbreaking in July. But then we've been back since. So in November, we already did a visit to take a look at the updates and see how things are coming along. And every time we go through one of those updates, we're able to see really how the building's progressing, and then just make sure that things still align with what our original vision was. Beam signing was a cool opportunity for our students in our community. We actually brought the beam into the school, made sure it was secure, but they had an opportunity to sign a beam that's actually in the school and just have a part of that process. Really cool for our 6th graders, because they're not going to be a part of that building because they're going to move on to 7th grade. But our 5th graders were really, as they were already nervous about coming into the intermediate school, they know they're a part of history and they're a part of this building that they're going to be the first group in.
Very good. So, when we think of the new construction, we think of the actual physical building itself that we've all been able to watch kind of through the stages as it's being built. Can you talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's consumed time on the inside?
Yes.
Things that people may not necessarily associate with a building project, but it's very much part of what you and Krista and other staff members are spending a lot of time on.
Well, currently right now we're talking about furniture. Ironically, that package is due pretty soon. Even just things as far as safety. how things would work in a building. Traffic flow within the building. We want our kids to have clear paths getting from point to point. But also, I'll just be honest, when we passed the levy and we started the project and we kind of looked at the price of what a building was going to cost, as material costs started to come back, we had to get creative and come back together with the Board of Education and administration and figure out how to keep the building true to what we want the building to do for us, and that's serve our 5th and 6th grade students, but also how can we cut costs. And I think we've done a really good job of doing that and preserving the things that are critical. Communicating, just making sure you communicate the updates, accurate information, and just making sure that, if there were certain things that we wanted to be in the plan, you got to work with architects, you got to work with construction crew to make sure that all that's still aligned and it's headed in the right direction.
Very good. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we are still, in case you're wondering, we are still on target to have the school portion of the building open in August of 25 for the next school year. The performing arts portion of it will be finished in November or December of 25, a little bit behind the rest of the building. But we're really excited about the process moving forward, and we're also excited about, and as an aside, the current building. Our board put out a request for proposals for those interested in buying that building back in November, and so we're excited to see what comes in through those, to how that building then can further enhance the downtown economic development and community use. Maybe transitioning, Brandon, one of the things that I find unique about what you do at CIS, when I compare it, every school's got different things they do. One of the things that are really neat at CIS are your town hall meetings. Could you talk about those? Tell us what those are, what they look like, why you do them.
Yes. So and as you say that, I smile because it is one of the staples of what we do at CIS. Really, I talked about a little bit earlier about how our building is segmented, and it's sometimes we're not as connected as we want to be. Well, guess what? Town hall meetings are an opportunity for us to connect. We all come together in the auditorium, and our students and staff are all there, and it happens at the end of our day. And yep, there it is, full auditorium of staff and students. And there's a purpose. So not only is it community, we have a purpose. And we start with celebrating a student who is what we call our student feature. So someone who has a talent. And this is kind of, right now, students are stepping up to say, hey, I have this talent. I'd love to perform in a town hall meeting. At first, it was just really who are the students that we want to highlight through some of our fine arts offerings, such as band and choir. So at our last town hall meeting, we actually had a student who does ballet and did part of the Nutcracker live right for our students. And it takes a lot of courage to get up on stage as a student in front of all the students and all the staff in the building and do that. And again, that's part of what we want at CIS. We want to build that confidence. Other things we do at town hall meetings is we have guest speakers at times come in and talk to our students. This year we were actually able to have some of our students from the middle school come back because they're used to the town hall meetings and talk to us. We also, this year, we had some students that came to me and said, hey, Mr. Cobb, at town hall meetings, we think we need to have teacher of the month and staff member of the month. So we met, we talked about it, they decided how they were going to conduct it, and every month they send out a Google form, they keep all the information private, and they come to me and say, here's going to be the teacher of the month, here's going to be the staff of the month. And it's pretty cool. And it's amazing, they even created the trophies at home, 3D printed some trophies. So every month we have it, and then you sign it and it goes on to the next teacher. So town hall meetings are great. Our counselors are involved with new teaching. The teaching comes from our social emotional learning curriculum, Character Strong. So they highlight the character trait of the month, or October's anti-bullying month. So they'll talk about bullying and how to be an upstander instead of a bystander. And then at the end, the fun part for a lot of the kids is at the end, we do like a minute to win it game. It's some kind of competition. It's usually 5th versus 6th. As I tell the kids, we don't really care who wins. It's just fun. They get loud. They cheer on their classmates. I think last month we did a rock, paper, scissors competition because they're all the time going around playing rock, paper, scissors. So it's just, again, it's building community. It's celebrating students. Also, our Students of the Month get celebrated. We do student shout outs. So there's kids that might just be having a really good moment that staff want to shout them out. So we do our staff shout outs. And then back to our PBIS, we do our bear paw drawings at those town hall meetings. So it's been pretty incredible.
Very good. Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. Anything else you'd like to share with us, Brandon?
No, I think you've kind of covered it. Obviously, you know, I'm very blessed and fortunate to work with a great staff at the intermediate school. We have great parents. We have great students. Looking forward to the transition. The one thing I will share is that, you know, we talked about this year. It is the last year. 2025 is going to be the closing of a building that's been around in our school district since 1907. But we have to make this the best year ever. And so our goal has been, let's make sure that these kids have such a great experience that it's not overshadowed by a new building that's coming in the future.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us today. Thank you and Krista and all the staff and at CIS for all that you do for our kids every day. We'll be back with a new episode of Striving to be the Best in January, focusing on Franklin Elementary School. Until then, happy holidays, and thank you for your continued support of our school district, Wadsworth.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.